Rob, let's go back to the Lakers. There are a lot of, obviously a lot of stuff going on there. They're in the ninth seed. They're only 2 games ahead of the 11th seed, which is Portland at this point. Portland's really tied with New Orleans at 10. So it's a lot. The question now is not just will they make the playoffs, but will they make the play in? I mean, that's a legit question. You talked about the schedule earlier. The schedule's the toughest in the Western Conference.
It's tough,
so
Chris.
It's not a guarantee. Yeah. And I think LeBron, and he said it, yesterday, that he's 10 toes down. He didn't use that quote, but he's in it to win it. He's not giving up this season. He thinks every time they get out there, he's got a chance, and he's not going to shut it down or anything like that. And I don't think he will. One, I think he wants to legitimately play. And two, and I don't blame him for this, Rob, he's also chasing Kareem. He's not just chasing wins. Yes, he's chasing wins, but he's also chasing Kareem's scoring record. And he knows that every game, right? And I don't blame him for that. I don't think that's wrong at all.
But he was in that blowout against the Pelicans, Chris. Remember, with 4 minutes to go, they're down 28.
Well, not
normally
just him.
You shouldn't be in that game.
All the starters were in there.
Yeah, but 19 years in the league, he shouldn't have been in that. He shouldn't have been out there.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about late game moments. I'm just talking about I think he's going to play. Now look.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that moment there that God forbid he got hurt in a 28-point blowout in the fourth quarter. Frank Vogel and them would be getting crucified. That's all I'm saying.
He's done that. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing that a long time. But I do think, Rob, if they get out of it, I mean, I don't see how in the world they'll be out of the play-in. They should have all year, to the end of the year to be in the hunt for the play-in. So that would seem to make you think he's not going to shut it down. But, if it really gets bad and they fall all the way out of the play-in, then maybe he does. He's obviously got next season. I don't even think he needs a full year if he keeps putting up the numbers that he is putting up. He doesn't need a full year. But we'll see. But there was an article in Bleacher Report, Rob, came out today that actually said Russell Westbrook, and the Lakers have mutual interest in parting ways this offseason.
Wow.
This offseason.
So even Westbrook
I don't know if that's true or not. Right.
But he might, Chris, to say, my career has been derailed here. You know what? Like in L.A., I'm the one to blame because he's the new piece, right? He's the one to blame. And he wants to get out of this situation, even though this is his hometown. Dream come true to wear the Lakers uniform, play in front of your people, Chris. It's one of those things. So it's got to be tough for him. And even when I hear him talk, and I everything is like dismissive of basketball because it's hell for him. Like, oh, I got kids at home and a wife, and I don't care. I'm not taking, I get it because he can't wear it. Now, don't tell me he would be talking that way, Chris, if they were winning. They wouldn't be. And it's a deflection of what's happening, and I'm sure it bothers him that this is happening in L.A., and his much ballyhooed career because of the triple-doubles has now been tainted or tarnished in some way, and people don't look at him the same way. I mean, that's got to be hard to stomach.
Well, let me ask you that. Do you think his career has been tarnished?
I do. I don't think people look at him the same way, Chris. And I'm going to be honest. I watched this guy play for years, but living in Los Angeles and watching the Laker games as much as I do, I didn't realize he was this bad of a shooter. I didn't realize some of his game is so ugly. I didn't. I'm going to be honest. You watch, for most people, Chris, you watch some games, you watch a lot of highlights. They don't put in all the bad shots. I'm watching these games. I've seen more bad Russell Westbrook stuff than I'd ever seen in his previous 10 years in the NBA. I can't believe how ugly some of the play is. I can't. And I know other people have seen it. and he's on a bigger stage for the first time. And others, Chris, because people follow the Lakers, not just in Los Angeles. There are Laker fans all over the country. I'm telling you, they see him differently.
I don't think so. I don't think he's been diminished. I really don't. He's late in his career. I know he's 33, doesn't seem old now. I think he's in his 13th season. That doesn't seem like a ton of time, but that's longer than Magic Johnson played. That's as long as Larry
Ain't
Bird
that crazy?
and Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, so he's had a full career. Obviously, he's top 75 Hall of Famer, all that. But, Rob, I really don't. I think I knew this is who he was. It's one reason I didn't think it would work with the Lakers. I knew he had what his flaws were in his game, that he's hard to play with and all that. But I think people or a lot of people will understand, look, this dude's in how in the world was he going to be successful in this situation? Like, this isn't built for him. He's the third guy. He's always had the ball in his hands. He's not going to be able to do that primarily now with LeBron there. He's not a shooter. Like, I just think he's and everybody's putting it on him, but you should look at Anthony Davis. LeBron's not blameless. And the other players have a lot to do with it as well. And I don't hold this against him any more than I hold when Charles Barkley went to Houston, but was about the same age as Westbrook and couldn't get out of the Western Conference with Drexler and Olajuwon. And then same thing with Pippen and Olajuwon. When Pippen went to Portland, Pippen didn't help them. They were great. They had LA down game 7 by 15 points going in the fourth quarter. Pippen's supposed to be there to be your leader. He's the champion. He doesn't do it. They lose that series in that game. So, I mean, guys have had these experiences, other guys. So I don't hold this against Westbrook.
I think the difference, though, Chris, is he's played with a lot of great players. It hasn't worked anywhere he's gone. It didn't work. Oh, he went to Houston. Yeah, me and Harden, we're cool. We're going to make this work. It didn't work there. KD couldn't wait to leave and get out of OKC. All I'm saying is, as this story continues, and he's been on 3 teams in 4 years, and 3 teams in 3 years, right? Washington, Houston, and the Lakers, and you're starting to bounce around, and people are starting to see that the common denominator is you, Westbrook, is you. I'm not saying Chris P's a bum now or he's not going to the Hall of Fame, but I don't think people look at him the same way or have the same feel for Westbrook after flopping on such a major stage. Whether they set him up to fail, whether this wasn't a good fit, and Chris, it wasn't. You're right. We said this. But boy, I just think that his play has been so raggedy at points. I didn't know he was there. I've heard of Raggedy Andy, but I didn't know there was a Raggedy Russell. Oh, I'm sorry. Nothing? What? That was good.
I mean, but here's the thing.
Elijah's going to use that soundbite. He knows it's good.
This notion that okay, he hasn't won a championship. I don't think he will win a championship. I said a few years ago he's never going to win a championship. You actually gave me pushback. He's not going to win a championship. The way he plays is tough. But don't go to the other extreme that he's just a straight up loser. Because
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying in general.
Okay, that didn't
like
come
for
out
the
of my
public
mouth.
perception. He got to an NBA Finals as a young kid with a young Kevin Durant and a young James Harden who did nothing in those finals.
Not especially
most years when he was with Durant, they were right there. They beat great Spurs teams in the playoffs with Tim Duncan and the big 3, Ginobili and Parker. And the years that I think they would have got to another finals, let's put it that way, if they had not had injuries. Remember, Durant was hurt 1 year, Westbrook was hurt another year, Ibaka was hurt. I mean, they kept having these injuries that kept them from being at full strength. And Durant never did much without Westbrook. get him to the second round. That's it. And then, of course, he goes to Golden State. And then Westbrook in OKC with Paul George, they make the playoffs. But let's not put it all on Westbrook. What has he done? He ain't won nothing either. He's got about the same type of career as Westbrook in terms of playoff runs.
I get that.
James Harden, same thing. Never, same type of career playoff runs. Bradley Beal, what in the world's he won?
I get all that.
I don't put it all on Russ. I think he's still look, I knew what he was. I always said it. He's hard to play with. His style is unique and hard to adjust to. But I recognize him for what he is, which is a great individual player, tremendous numbers, an individual spectacle. But I don't think he's going to win a championship. I think it's hard to win a championship with him as a player. But I don't think that diminishes him. He's an all-time great at some level. So